How's it going, guys? I guess it's time for a little update and some modifications to the pond. It's been about 3 years since I post, but then again, you guys know I'm not a YouTuber and I'm not doing this for money. None of my videos are monetized, nor will I ever think about monetizing them. I'm not really into this, but I thought it would be cool to give you guys an update for you guys that are following. It's been 3 years since my last post. The last post was about me losing a lot of my fish. I would say I lost about 70% of my fish. My pump stopped working. I had a single pump back then. My pump stopped working. Ammonia built up. My son was supposed to be taking care of the pond for me, or watching over it anyways. The ammonia built up and all my big koi died. I was only left with the small ones, like 10 inchers. Catfish, of course, the iridescent shark made it. Everything else died. Guppies and mollies made it as well, but it's not the ones that I really, not that I don't care about them. It's not the more fragile ones. Anyhow, so now I have another situation, and I'm gonna run that by you guys real quick here. Let me turn this camera around. So I put water in the pond yesterday and it was full all the way to the top of that glass almost. And the water level has dropped that low. As a matter of fact, that standpipe in the back, that's my overflow. And right where the white is on the top side, that's my water level. So I do have a leak. Besides that, you guys see how dirty my water is. I have way too many fish in here. I think I have about 20 koi, plus the iridescent shark, one Oscar, some of my father's tropical fish that I got to get back to him now when I empty the pond. I have some clown loaches and some real small algae eaters and stuff like that. That's gonna be taken out of here. I'm gonna try to get rid of all the guppies, leave no more guppies in here. And of course, I have my father's, both of his bristlenose plecos, sorry, wow. Bristlenose plecos, and I have a pleco myself. So all those fish are in there and they're just building up all kinds of crap that's not getting eaten up by the bacteria fast enough. So if I come back here, you'll see that little slab down there is wet, and the reason for that is that this standpipe, which is in the middle, my cords, my power cords run through there for the lights and the pumps. The bulkhead fitting on the inside broke its seal. I don't know if I bumped into it or if it's just from sitting there so long. You see that? So bulkhead fittings do not work. I have my overflow and my two pumps, 1-inch pipes, 2-inch pipes. So I'm gonna modify all this back here since I'm gonna empty the pond. Take my time to fix all the plumbing, make it right. And I'm gonna do something about these electrical connectors here. The two outlets is 2 GFIs, individual GFIs, one pump on each side. So if one pump trips a circuit breaker or the GFI, the other one will keep working. But you guys can look at that in my other video. I am gonna get a junction box to cover all that. Everything will stay inside the junction box so it stays nice and dry. My other issue is now that my water level is low, you guys will be able to see this. I tried to make a video yesterday, but you just couldn't see the paint. All the rubber paint that I bought, can't remember what the name or the brand of it is all bubbling up. I think you can see it right there. It's all bubbling up. I don't see any leaks anywhere else, but the paint is giving way. So I'm gonna empty the pond, fix my plumbing. I'm gonna put flanges on the back so I can screw them to the wall. I'll show you how I'm doing that later. I'm gonna use the same 2 pumps that I have. I have an aerator going with 2 stones. I'm gonna pressure wash everything, make sure all the loose paint is gone, and then I'm gonna paint it. This time I'm gonna use, I left the paint inside. This time I'm gonna use Aqua Shield is the name of the paint. I'm gonna use Aqua Shield. I've seen a couple guys on YouTube, Paul Cafaro and a bunch of his friends build ponds with plywood and use that paint on the plywood. It works. They don't have any leaks, or at least they tell us they don't have any leaks. So I guess it'll work a lot better on concrete. It's rated for concrete as well. As you guys can see here, I just bought a 10-foot pool. I think it's like 600 gallons or something. I'm hoping that I only have to keep these fish in here for, I want to say a week, maybe, if that. So I'm hoping that that everything will be all right for that amount of time. I cleared out my patio here. I'm gonna set up the pool under the roof to try to keep it as clean as possible. I have the electrical junction box here. This is where I'm gonna put the 2 outlets in. I'll show you this a little later. And I have 2 float switches that I'm gonna use so they could set off or turn off the pumps if I ever get a low water situation again. Besides that, we'll see you when I start getting this empty and moving fish over. Well, it seems that I lied. This is not 600 gallons. It's a 1,185 gallon or something like that. So I'm pumping some water out of the pond into the pool, and then I'll fill the rest up with the well water, which is what I do when I do a water change anyways, and this was due for a water change, so they should be fine. All right, so here we go. I have about 18 inches of water. Probably should take some more out. We're gonna see how this goes. I'm gonna move these guys over. 15 feet shouldn't be that bad. So I counted the koi, and the koi, including the 2 shabunkins, that's one of them right there. I have 22. I had way too many fish in here. And everybody's doing all right except for that guy. That's the guy that has scoliosis or whatever they call that thing. His back is all twisted. He straightened out some, not his back, just his swimming. So what I did was I put the big fish in here, and I put all the smaller fish in here, all my algae eaters and all the smaller fish. That way I could give my father back his 2 pleco and give him his clown loaches. And this is what we have inside of the pond. Now you can see the paint where it bubbled up and came off. That's my main reason for emptying this out. And it's weird because it's mostly on this wall, because the back walls and the side walls are pretty good. And then the bottom of this thing is like a rug right now. It's like we're back in the 70s with the shack rugs. That's all the algae that's down there. But that's inevitable, that's gonna happen anyways. All right, I'll get to pressure cleaning here tomorrow, the day after. I'm gonna seal this back wall to get rid of all this and see if it takes a little longer to come back or it's easier to clean once it comes back, God knows. And this is the culprit right here. This is the guy that was leaking. You can see the silicone I used. It broke seal when I bumped, or somebody bumped into the back of this. Well, all the kids are doing fine. The only one that I thought that wasn't gonna make it, and we're almost a week in. 6 Sunday made to week. I'm trying to figure out what day it was today. That's the one that has the back problem there. And he looks good, so let's hope he makes it. Let's hope he makes it when I put him back in the pond. These guys are alive and kicking here. They're good. There's a big glare in the water. And then we come over here. The old lights are out. All the plumbing is off the wall. That was the culprit right there. It was the one that was leaking the most. If these were leaking, it was so little that I couldn't notice. So I took all the plumbing out and all the fixtures out. Everything is gone. The only plumbing left, sorry guys, I have a little bit of a cold here. And the only plumbing that's left here is the one we can't take out. So I'm gonna pressure wash it real quick and I'll show you guys what it looks like when it's done so you can see it before. All right guys, so I told you how those fittings on the filter have a small gasket that fall out of place and they suck. That's the only thing I don't like about my filter. So I'm gonna go with, I'm gonna put some PVC fittings on here. This will go on the straight one. And then there's a very small gap, I'll show you guys later, between one of the male fittings coming out of the filter and the housing itself. The thickness of this would not fit in there. So I had to shave this one down, give it like a little taper, fits in there perfect now. So this is a straight shot. That one's perfect, I don't have to do anything with that. This one will go out on the other side of the filter. I know this is a 45, it's not a 90, but with a 90 degree. And then I'm gonna put some PVC, I don't know if they're called couplings, whatever they are. I'll show them to you in a second here, or in a little while. That way I can still take the filter out, clean it, and I don't have to break that seal anymore. This will be Tefloned in, it'll be, I don't think it'll leak. And then my bulkhead fittings are gonna be replaced with these Schedule 80 flanges. Now, these flanges come with a little lip here. They make a fitting called water stop, and the water stop, the pipe goes glued into the water stop, but you can push the pipe all the way through, just like this. So what I'm gonna do is seal this against the wall, bolt it down so it never moves again, and then I'll just PVC. I'll glue the PVC in here, and it's a tight fit. It's not loose enough where there'll be too much of a gap for the cement to fill. And then of course I did the same thing with the 1 inch. Took that little barb out, and that end of the PVC is boogered up. And when I took that little piece of the barb out, it fits through, but it's very, very snug on there. There's no play whatsoever. Just enough to get the PVC in there. All right. Since I'm here, show you guys what I did out here. The old pressure washer hanging out here. These guys are kicking ass and taking names. They're doing great. So I already have a couple buyers. Well, I guess you shouldn't count your chickens till they're hatched. But I have a couple buyers for the koi. Now that rubberized paint came right off. Well, it came off, not right off. Who am I kidding? It took me a few hours to get to there, but then I had to go out, so I had to stop. What I did was I hit it one time, took all the loose stuff off, and then I came back and all the black rubberized paint came off. There's places where it stayed, where it wouldn't come off, so I just left it on there. Now the primer is still on there, but the rubberized paint, maybe that's why it was bubbling off.
Back wall is clean. I'm gonna find a sealer for that. Then I gotta wait because weather's not cooperating to paint, and it's gonna rain for the next couple days. So what I'll work on is fitting the plumbing. I'm not gonna secure it to the wall yet. I'm just gonna fit it, make sure everything is where it goes, so I could cement the PVC through the flanges and leave enough to work with the PVC on one side and the other. So when I paint everything and I secure that, then I could work on the plumbing. Oh, started raining. All right, guys, see you in a second. Pond is completely pressure washed. All of those streaks on there are really hard to get off, so I don't think they're coming off. So time for a good cleaning. I'm gonna get my flanges ready. Then I'm trying to fix that filter that I have over there against my little workshop over there. I'm gonna try to get that to stop leaking. I could set that on one side, get the plumbing done, so then I can move the fish over and get the other plumbing done, and I'll be good to go, of course, after I paint and do my electrical. All right, everybody's doing good over here. Give me a second here. Knock the clip off when I walk by. The clip. So this is where I'm at, guys. If you guys have ever used, or are ever gonna use that rubberized paint that I used, it works for a few years, but what I've noticed is, sorry, I pitched a little tent here so it doesn't get wet after I dry this pond. It's like rainy season over here. It rains every day. But anyways, I'm trying to find a nice spot that has that paint on it, like right there. I don't think this thing ever dried, because it just like comes off almost pasty. So if you guys ever use this or are planning on using it, just keep that in mind. That's why this paint bubbled up and was falling off. Like right now I'm using this vacuum and I'm taking all the dust and stuff off of the walls, and as I'm going, I'm finding spots like this that have some paint on it, and you'll see how easy it comes off here. I mean, that's just a little speckle, but see, it comes right off. So just a thought for you guys, if you guys ever think about using that. I said, like I told you guys, I'm gonna use Pond Shield. So I'm following the instructions to a T. I sanded this down, just because that primer in the back, if you guys use it, just read the instructions. Now I'm gonna wipe everything down. I'm vacuuming. I'll wipe it down with some acetone, see if any of the other rubberized paint is still stuck on there. I could take it off the best that I can, and then I'll cross my fingers. I don't know how else to get that paint off other than sandblasting this thing, and I'm not gonna sandblast. I'm pretty sure it'll be okay, but you guys use me as a guinea pig. We'll see how it turns out, but this is where I'm at. So current situation, these right here, these are instructions for Pond Shield. I know I called it Aqua Shield at the beginning of the video, but it's actually for Pond Shield. Make sure you follow them. Don't try to mix everything and paint it all at once. you're not gonna finish on time, guaranteed. Especially if you have to use the brush in the edges and the corners. It takes a long time to use the brush. It's very thick. You won't have enough time. I'm mixing a gallon, but I'm mixing it in thirds. So I'm doing a liter, which is a little bit under a third, 1 liter of the paint, and half a liter of the part B, the hardener. I did give the walls of the pond a second coat, but the first time around, half of that gallon got hard on me because I tried to brush all the edges everywhere, and by the time I was done with that, I was only able to paint like a little piece of a wall, and it got hard. You have 30 minutes work time. That's it. You don't have more than that. So with the second half of that gallon, I was only able to paint all of the walls and that much of the floor. So I haven't painted any of the floor today. All I did was a second hand on the walls. With just 1/3 of that gallon, I was able to do all of that. And that's what I ended up with. This thing gets hard fast. It's already gooping up down there. So just making you guys aware of that. I thought I had time to brush and paint. Didn't happen. By the way, all the fish are still in there, loving life. The water's super clear. The bottom of the pond is going to have a little bit of algae because it gets some sunlight at this time, but super clean. Fish are doing very well. And another thing, so got to coat that floor one more time. The instructions say they send the right amount of hardener for the right amount of paint, and I call BS on that. Make sure you use mixing cups. Don't do it by what they send you, or at least both times on me it's been off. The first time I mixed half a gallon with with a quarter gallon, half a gallon of paint with a quarter gallon of the hardener of the part B, and then I mixed another batch the same way, and I had hardener left over. So if you mix it with what they send you and there's more hardener, it's going to get hard really fast. So just a heads up. All right, boys and girls, all painted. I actually gave it 3 coats and a very thick coat on the bottom of the floor. Don't mind the drain, it gets covered with another black piece, so you never see that. And with the minimal mess, those drops right there, it's the only mess I made. All right. It's gonna take me a few days because I'm getting LASIK surgery on my eyes tomorrow. So this is gonna sit covered. I was gonna let it sit for 48 hours anyways. So for the weekend, I might be able to hop in here and do the plumbing. I'll save you guys of the torture of sitting here and watching me drill holes. Once the flange fittings are in and I have the plumbing set up, I'll show you guys. See you in a few seconds. All right, real quick before the fittings, for the flange fittings and the PVC. So I left about 2 fingers about 2 fingers high of paint in here, and I have some hardener left over. So I'm planning on painting all the PVC and the PVC fittings that are going to be inside that pond, so I don't have any white PVC or black PVC for that matter. Tubing that you can see from the outside, everything will be nice and blue. We'll see how that turns out. It's supposed to be able to paint PVC with it. And this is just a little test bit that I leave in the bucket. Aviation habit. Always leave a little bit, make sure it gets hard. That way you don't have to shove your finger in the paint and see if it hardened. All right, folks. See you when the PVC is done. All right, portion of the plumbing is in. And before you guys critique those 2 pipes that are sitting there crooked, I just had LASIK, man. It looked straight to me when I did it. There's the light. I gotta go get myself a stainless steel tap con. I'm using everything stainless steel. Learned that the hard way. And this one goes right there where I have the hole drilled. Fill it with silicone and then put the tap con in. I'm gonna run the wire up and along the top and bring it down straight into that pipe and do the same thing on this side. I'm gonna paint those pipes blue anyway, so you probably can't tell how crooked. It doesn't look that bad. All right, we'll be back again. Working on a rainy day, but it doesn't matter. Still have this little tent up, and I'm working on plumbing anyways. So this is where I stand. I put these flange fittings in here. They're secured to the wall. Nothing's going anywhere. It has silicone, a nice gasket of silicone between the flange and the wall in the back. I had to use these big washers because the holes in these flanges are outrageous. They're for like 1/2 inch or 5/8 bolts or something. But I mean, what I put in here is fine. It's not gonna go anywhere. I hard plumbed the bottom. I used to have a fitting here, just hook the hose up to there. But I hard plumbed it to the bottom because I'm gonna paint the PVC. And that way the only thing you see is gonna be the hose and the pump on the floor. So it'll be, you know, a minimal equipment. You know, you don't want everything to pop out, I guess. This is my plumbing for the electrical. I still gotta go on the other side, cut it, get a 90 going. So the end of the pipe will be way up here, way above the water level. Never have overflow going out of there, and I could run all the wires I want through that pipe. And then this is my overflow, which I'll be painting blue as well. The only thing that'll stay black is that screen on the top. I'm gonna see if the paint takes to the gray flange fitting. It should. It says PVC. The paint sticks on PVC, should be fine. Now, the only thing I'm missing on the inside is, of course, the pumps. And I have a pool light that goes there. And on the other side, another pool light. You'll see it when I come right back. Had a change of heart. I was sitting here thinking, once I have the pump sitting over there and it's connected down here, if I have to clean that pump or change the pump, then I either have to take a lot of water out of the pond or leave a lot of hose in here. So I just put one of these connectors here, and when I have to clean the pump, change the pump or do something to the pump, I could just take the whole thing out and it's gone. That was an afterthought, but luckily I thought about it now. Just wanted to share that before I went to the other side. All right, guys. 2 long days. Oh, 1.5 really. It rained a lot yesterday. I have my lights in. I'd show them to you, but they're hooked up to the phone that I have on now. Look better with the water in here anyways. I painted the PVC in the back blue. The only thing I didn't paint blue were those unions down there because they don't want to get any in the threads. So there's one pump here. I have the other pump in the pool that's gonna go right here. That pump is gonna push. I'm gonna see how this works. I'm gonna put this PVC pipe here with all these T's and see if it moves the water in the bottom and it keeps it circulating so the sediment doesn't sit on the bottom and it gets to the filter faster. And then back here, big change. My father was out here yesterday helping me do this. So I ran all the plumbing against the wall so I wouldn't have anything sticking out here the way I had it before. It was a hot mess. I hard plumbed this filter. Like I said, the gaskets that sit on this little lip, that lip is so tiny that if you tighten it too much or don't tighten it enough, if you don't hit it right in the sweet spot, it leaks. Pain in the ass. These not so bad. So since I have 2 pumps, I just put in another filter. I took out that little canister filter I had, put this one in. It's easier to clean, you can take it all out. I have a hot mess in here right now because I'm still waiting to run the wire for the other pump. But all the electrical is going to be in there. I just have the lights hooked up now. Oh, the lights. Oh. Stand by. And I put 2 float switches in here. So if I hook up the pump right now, it'll be off. When the water level, I'm sure many of you guys have seen this already, but I know there's a few that haven't. And I'll get in here so I can show you guys. As long as this switch, I don't know if you can hear the ball. So right there, the switch is made. The pump will run. If the water level drops and it gets there, about 1.5 feet, then the pump will stop working. I might raise this just a little bit. It might be too low. As I fill it, I'll see. If I fill it and it turns off too soon, or it doesn't turn on when I need it to, then I'll just raise it. That's pretty much it. Well, here we are, all filled up. Just lacking fish. I'm gonna transfer fish over here tomorrow. I'm gonna check the water just in case. I know that paint's supposed to be fish safe and all that crap, but I'll still check the chemicals, make sure there's nothing in here that's not I think one of those filters made my pond smell dirty, but I'm not sure. For you guys that are watching this video as your first video, this used to be a concrete slab. There was a smoker in the middle. There was a hole in the concrete right here for the ashes to drop. So I just filled it in, ran a pipe to the back. That's why you see all the pipes in the wall back there. But if I ever move out of here, I will build another pond, sorry. Poof. Tongue twister, huh? I will build another pond, and I'm gonna make it a lot different. I'll probably make a couple drains on each side, a main drain in the center at the lowest point, but that's still some time to come. For now, this is working fine. Next time you guys see this, I'll have fish in here. And what my dilemma is, I gotta sell some of these fish, and I don't know which ones I'm keeping. Keeping that one for sure, and that one. And if I had to choose between that one and that one, I'll keep that one. Keeping this guy and that guy. And this guy looks like he has a mask. That one right here, that chocolate colored one. These two are pretty similar. I gotta keep scoliosis over there. Poor guy. And I'll probably have to keep this guy because his fins, he had fin rot one time. And his fins got all torn up, so I don't think anybody will like him. And of course, I'll keep one of these guys right here. I have two of them that are pretty similar. That guy right there. Those two guys. All right, just wanted to show you guys the fat boys. It's hard to choose. There you go. I chose my koi. These are the guys that I'm keeping for sure. That's Mr. Scoliosis, poor guy. He'll stay with me till the end of his days. I have the iridescent shark. Those are my two bigger ones. Kept this guy. I was gonna try to sell him, but he's injured on the side, as you can see right there. I'm gonna keep him. I'm gonna medicate him. I'm gonna keep him. I'm not gonna give him away. So that's what I have. Well, boys and girls, we've reached the end of the video here. It seems like it's been forever for me. It took me about a month to get this done. I mean, the pond took me about a week and a half, almost 2 weeks. All in all, I did have some downtime because of the LASIK. I had to travel and stuff like that, but the pond itself took me about a week and a half, 2 weeks to get done. I just haven't been able to finish the video. I threw out my back. I was in bed for 6 days. This is actually my 8th day since I threw out my back, and this is my 2nd time coming out to the pond. So
Let's turn this around so we can finish this video. It's been a long video, 45 minutes I think it's gonna end up at, so somewhere around there. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Hope you guys learned something from this. Let me turn this thing around and show you guys how this ended up. So here you go. This is my second time doing a take on this. The first time was real early in the morning and you couldn't appreciate it, so everybody's doing fine in there. I don't know why he's been flashing, but he's the only one that's doing it so far. You gotta get in there and double check, make sure everything's good. There's the guy that has a twisted back, twisted spine. He's doing fine, he's eating. Just lays on the bottom a lot, but I'm sure he'll be all right. There's nothing to stress him out in there. And oh, I guess there's a couple of them flashing, so I gotta check that. And that guy back there, that's the one that had the entered scale. It's actually on the other side, but I looked at it this morning and he was doing fine. It healed up nicely. As you can see, you don't see the sore there anymore. Everything else is doing fine. Besides the leaves, like I said, I've been out. The wife's been feeding the fish for me. This is actually my first time walking up to the pond in a whole week. I usually stand out on the sidewalk and look over this way, but there you go, you guys. I think I went over everything. I showed you guys everything I did. It's looking good, and hopefully next time you guys see me, if there's a next time, it's not because something bad happened. So you guys enjoy. Hope you guys got something out of it, and see you guys the next time.